forget the Beatles. It's television that really made these years what they were.
My sociology professor will never believe this.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 decade-defining TV shows of the 1960s.
You're fired!
You better...
Get out!
You better...
You're through!
For our series on the top decade-defining shows per era, we picked series that spoke to the period in which they were made and set the standard for television during that time.
It never would have happened. It's my fault.
These shows were chosen for how important they were in the 1960s, regardless of when they started or finished.
My deciding vote goes to candidate number 4.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones.
Number 10, The Flintstones.
Now, Bam Bam, you mustn't hit anything with your... Ouch! Hey, let go of my finger!
This animated Hanna-Barbera sitcom may have been set in the prehistoric era, but its clever riffs on domestic issues continue to resonate with modern viewers to this day. Yahoo! Fred and Barney are two best friends who struggle to balance their enjoyment of bowling and each other with the responsibilities of family and adulthood.
Hey, that's no kitten. A baby.
Much of the show's humor was derived from the hilarious prehistoric versions of modern technology.
One frosty one coming up. Straws, please. Thank you.
But perhaps most importantly, the Flintstones' success set the stage for more adult-oriented cartoons in the future.
It was them.
You dope.
Number 9, The Beverly Hillbillies.
You can see for yourself. I don't know nothing about that.
Much of this sitcom wouldn't be PC by today's standards, but it seemed hysterical in the 60s.
We'll be among our kind of folks.
It portrays the Clampett family, a rural clan who relocates to a mansion in Beverly Hills after patriarch Jed strikes oil.
That swamp of yours is full of oil.
I could have told you that.
The show pioneered the fish-out-of-water genre that later became popular.
Probably done them in with them knives and things.
These killers, if I ever did see any. Fine neighborhood we's moving into.
And it's not hard to understand why it took off when you see the hilarious cultural misconceptions that make up much of the humor.
Folks out here has got a strange way of showing they're grateful.
Though many critics weren't impressed, the Beverly Hillbillies was a smash with viewers. And isn't that all that matters?
Much too highfalutin for folks like us.
Sure.
Number 8, Gilligans Island.
Skipper! The transmitter works!
I fixed it. Great, wonderful.
I found the break in the printed circuit and I fixed it. Now it works.
What do you get when you stick a clumsy, not-so-bright first mate with 6 other castaways who couldn't be more different from each other on an uncharted island somewhere in the Pacific Ocean?
Lovey, when was the last time I worked?
Darling, you never have.
Of course. Dear old Dad left me everything.
If that first mate is this sitcom's titular Gilligan, then it's most likely comedy gold.
If there be a man-eating shark out there, what are you waiting for?
Running for a total of 3 seasons, Gilligan's Island was popular during the mid-60s, but grew even more beloved in later years thanks to the show's running gags,
Come off, Gilligan!
recurring themes, slapstick comedy, and, of course, the now iconic Gilligan character.
Gee, it all sounds so wonderful. I think I'll go back and drown myself.
Number 7, Batman.
What is it, Commissioner? The Joker?
Not him again. How soon can you get here?
Quick as a flash, Commissioner. To the Bat Pulse.
Boy, campy superhero shows really did prevail this decade.
A good likeness, but a bad joke.
As evidenced not only by Batman, but also by the similar show, The Green Hornet.
You're walking into a trap. You better let me help.
Thanks, Frank, but the Green Hornet started this. He'll finish it.
Long before Christopher Nolan's moody Dark Knight trilogy, Adam West portrayed a lighter version of the Caped Crusader.
Of course.
The show used upbeat music, campy visuals, and lovably corny moral lessons to show a more cheery version of the hero we're used to today.
I think you should acquire a taste for opera, Robin, as one does for poetry and olives.
We can't imagine taking any show with something like Robin's trademark exclamations too seriously. but we sure enjoyed it.
Gosh, you really think of everything, Batman.
Number 6, Bonanza.
Now you ain't gonna believe this.
Westerns aren't too popular currently, but they were once among Hollywood's biggest genres.
No, I was just keeping tabs on the goings and comings.
As many as there were, this show stood out from the pack by focusing on a family's drama rather than the giant ranch on which they lived.
Hey, there's something mighty funny going on around here.
The Cartwright clan was made up of Ben and his 3 sons, each of whom came from a mother of a different ethnicity. The show's tone ranged from serious to lighthearted, but it was always entertaining.
They're gonna laugh at us. They're gonna think he's loony.
Even as it tackled social issues like racism, which was uncommon for the time.
Oh, they think he's some sort of a dangerous runaway slave or something. But he ain't, and I know he ain't.
Well, I wish I had your faith in human nature.
Number 5, Star Trek, the original series.
These experiences were intended to amuse you. Amuse? That's your word, what we've been through?
This sci-fi series went on to spawn one of history's most beloved franchises, but it all started here.
It gives us all we need.
The show followed the exploits of the crew aboard the Starship Enterprise, and it depicted their thrilling encounters as they traveled through the Milky Way.
All right, you mutinous, disloyal, computerized half-breed. We'll see about you deserting my ship.
It used its futuristic setting to tackle taboo topics like racism and war. But actors like William Shatner and George Takei made it more than just a morality play.
I'll have you checkmated, your next move.
Have I ever mentioned you play a very irritating game of chess, Mr. Spock?
Though it only lasted 3 seasons, Gene Roddenberry's series was iconic enough to span time and space.
He needs it. You've got your problems, I've got mine. But he's got ours, plus his, plus 430 other people.
Number 4, The Dick Van Dyke Show.
I beg pardon. Could you tell me where I might find Robert Petrie?
Life as a TV writer isn't quite as glamorous as it sounds.
Don't do that!
As viewers found out on this sitcom. It centers around the personal and private life of Rob Petrie, a comedy scribe played by the titular actor.
Oh, this kid is in trouble.
Hey, Rob, why don't you do like I do? Yeah, why don't you do like he does? What do you do?
Though he's smart and dedicated to his career, Rob saves time for his wife Laura and his son Richie.
Here is a tip for you.
Thanks. Hey, did you bring me anything, Daddy?
Rich, I just gave you the baseball cards.
The show successfully bridged the gap between 50s slapstick and the more realistic situations seen in the 70s, which helped the show take home 15 Emmy Awards over its 5 seasons.
You have a lovely voice.
Well, thank you, Doctor. So do you.
What do you look like?
Number 3, Doctor Who.
I don't understand your attitude.
Yours leaves a lot to be desired.
This show is the longest-running sci-fi series in the world, and it's easy to understand why when you see its early episodes.
Saying that you don't know how to work this thing?
Of course I can't.
William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton made for excellent early incarnations of the Doctor, and they were surrounded by awesome companions.
It's difficult to tell.
In its early years, the show was more educational in focus, which made for great family viewing.
I don't discuss my private life with strangers.
After its debut at the beginning of the 60s, Doctor Who became a mainstay of British culture and a massive cult hit.
I don't think so, young man. No, I don't think so.
Number 2, The Andy Griffith Show.
Taylor. Sheriff Taylor of Mayberry. No, I don't have an appointment, but I'd appreciate if you'd tell him I'm here.
Ron Howard became a star on Happy Days, but he was in this hilarious family sitcom first.
Opie! Opie, son, you all right?
Yeah, Pa. Ain't it a beauty?
He plays the young son of the titular star's character, a common-sense spewing local sheriff named Andy.
Well, now, that's a right interesting story, Ope.
Though he tries to be professional, he's often undermined by his bumbling deputy, Barney.
Why don't I go to that boy's home and tell his daddy?
The show's lighthearted tone struck a chord with viewers, and it ended its last season at number 1 in the ratings.
It's just plain extortion's what it is.
The series may have felt like a relic of days gone by, but The Andy Griffith Show was definitely an icon of the 60s.
Well, it all worked out all right, and I thought you did a fine job explaining it all on the witness stand.
Before we unveil our pick for decade-defining show of the 1960s, here are a few honorable mentions.
I sure hope our new president ends the war in Vietnam so we can bring our 500,000 advisors home to reload.
We picked something up on the scanner.
Great. What direction?
Just as we're going. That way.
You know, I tried to tell Charlie that the train was away from the big diamonds, but he's so old-fashioned. And of course he can afford to be. Oh, terribly sorry.
Oh, no! Oh, how cruel of you to taunt me in my hour of grief. I could use the extra room, though. How about something in early American?
Well, the point is, children, there is a Santa Claus. Isn't there?
Of course there is.
I hope he brings me a new Marie Antoinette doll for my guillotine.
Oh.
Number 1. The Twilight Zone. The 60s saw no show greater than this sci-fi anthology series.
There's a man out there.
What?
Look, he's crawling on...
Creator Rod Serling, who also hosted the show, often used his unrelated stories as vehicles for social commentary.
A doll can become many things. Friend, defender, guardian.
But The Twilight Zone was far from a drab civics lesson.
No. Doesn't matter.
With many soon-to-be stars in early roles.
Am I really so bad? Am I really so frightening?
The compelling tales were some of the darkest and most gripping hours that had ever been on TV. And they blazed the trail for the medium's future. We're still creeped out.
My name is Talkie Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
Do you agree with our list?
Yes.
Habit. That might have something to do with it.
What TV show do you think best defined the 1960s?
Hi, Skipper. Going in for a dip?
For more memorable top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
See you later.